What's going on, everybody? It's the Archaic Eagle here today, and I'm back with even more Fallout 76 stuff because I'm stuck on a Fallout 76 kick and you guys are going to be as well. So, one of the most interesting things about the Fallout universe to me has always been the creatures, and while Fallout does operate on sci-fi logic and science, it shouldn't really be taken as what could happen after a nuclear explosion to different animals. It's still kind of interesting to look at how the Great War impacted the different ecosystems of the varied locations that Fallout games have been set in. So I decided, why don't we take a little walk around Appalachia, the home of Fallout 76, and look at these creatures, these mutated versions of the animals that we've come to know and love, and just go through some background on them, how they operate in-game, and how their real-life inspirations, how they actually operate. So, to kick off this series, we're going to start with a Fallout mainstay, the Deathclaw. Now, few creatures are as fearsome in the lore of Fallout as this hulking reptilian killing machine. Deathclaws, along with rad scorpions, the different versions of mole rats, and different various dogs are creatures that have actually been a constant throughout every release of Fallout dating back to 1997, and have rightfully earned their place near the top of the wasteland food chain. Now, the origins of the Deathclaw can be traced back to weapons development that was occurring before the Great War. Basically, scientists were working on a way to engineer a super soldier that would take the place of human troops, thereby eliminating the human cost of the war. Now, the Deathclaw never actually saw any combat before the Great War, and after the bombs fell, the Deathclaws escaped captivity. And at some point before the events of the first Fallout game, some Deathclaws actually came under control of the Master, who, through additional genetic modification, was able to create a subspecies of the Deathclaw that actually displayed human-level intelligence, human-level reasoning, and deep thought. Now, in Fallout 76, there are many different varieties of the Deathclaw, ranging from your everyday garden variety Deathclaw all the way up to the Scorched Deathclaw, which is a Deathclaw, which is already a dangerous enough animal, that's been infected with the Scorch Plague, thereby making it even more of an absolute killing unit. And two additional types of Deathclaws that appear are the Alpha Deathclaw and the Matriarch Deathclaw variety. And what this reflects then is that Deathclaws typically operate as pack animals, which is a bit different than their namesake and their inspiration, as I'll go through in a little bit. And even though you don't encounter packs of Deathclaws really in Fallout 76, it still doesn't change the fact that these animals are absolutely lethal, and I would much prefer to try and take on a single Deathclaw as opposed to an entire pack of Deathclaws. Now, as I mentioned before, the Deathclaw is the result of pre-war weapons research trying to create a super soldier, and based off of the appearance of the animal, coupled with information that you can find through past games and through past terminal entries, which can be read on the Fallout Wiki, we see that the Deathclaw is actually the result of experiments in crossbreeding of Jackson's chameleons with other different types of reptiles to create a bipedal or two-legged killing machine. Now, in real life, the Jackson's chameleon is not a native animal anywhere in the United States. It's not an animal that just normally occurs in nature, and definitely not in West Virginia. Primarily, Jackson's chameleons can be found in East Africa. However, through the exotic animal trade and these animals being released by their owners when they either no longer want them or they're unable to care for them, they've become an invasive species in the state of Hawaii and can also be found in small numbers in California and in Florida. Now, unlike their Deathclaw counterparts, Jackson's chameleons are actually primarily insectivores, living off of different species of millipedes, centipedes, spiders, the occasional lizard, and even small birds that can be found in their natural habitat. Now, Jackson's chameleons are also not oviparous animals, meaning that they're egg-laying animals. If you've played Fallout 4, you probably remember the side mission that you can do at the Museum of Witchcraft, where you have to return the Deathclaw egg to its nest. Real-life Jackson's chameleons are animals that primarily give birth to live young as opposed to laying eggs and letting them hatch. And one of the other striking features of the Jackson's chameleon that carries over to the Deathclaw are its horns. Now, real-life Jackson's chameleons, with them, only males have the horns. Females either don't have horns at all, or they only have small nubs that show the essence of them potentially having horns. And whereas in Fallout 76, both males and females have horns, even though their horns, the direction that they're pointing, is a signifier of what their gender is. And the Deathclaw really reflects perfectly sort of the mindset of America before the Great War. You see a nation that is so willing to try and come up with the next great superweapon that they're willing to create this absolute abomination of a killing machine to turn out against other people, against other humans. And while Deathclaws in Fallout 76 are still at the level of hard to find, they're not held in the same mythical reverence as they are in the earlier Fallout titles, with there actually being an entire island in Fallout 76 dedicated just to the animal, aptly named Deathclaw Island. And as you travel throughout the Appalachia, you can find Deathclaws hanging out in different spots. They're not an overly common animal, but they're not this mythical, rare creature that the first two Fallout games made them out to be. Nonetheless, though, Deathclaws are still, by far, one of the most dangerous enemies that you can face in Fallout if you come up against one completely unaware. So if you're playing Fallout for the first time, be aware of these things. They will kill you in an instant if you are not prepared. So that's a little bit about the Deathclaw. This isn't as long of a video as I normally do, but I really just wanted to kind of touch on the basics of the Deathclaw, how it came into being, you know, what it was planned to be used for before the Great War, and what it's capable of now, as well as looking at the animal that actually inspired the Deathclaw. That way, you kind of can take a look and see how we went from mostly harmless chameleon to two-legged killing machine. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been informative, and I hope it's kind of made you think a little bit more about the things that you're fighting in the Fallout universe. I definitely plan on continuing this series. I'm actually planning on looking at the Mirelurk next, which in itself is its own little interesting bit of misnaming, really, when you start to look at the different creatures that carry the name Mirelurk, but that is a different video for a different day. If you have enjoyed this video just as much as I have making it and researching it, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to see even more Fallout 76 content and what you're thinking of the content that I'm getting out so far. Your feedback is what drives what I put up on this channel. If you haven't already, follow me over on Twitter at Archaic Eagle. That way you know when I'm going live on Twitch or when I'm thinking up new ideas for the channel, and you can get a heads up on when my new videos are going live. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll talk to you next time.